All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Articles of Antiquity online video chat version. I have with me Lynda DeFuria with her
Oh,
illustrious career of being awesome singer, lady, theater person, especial, and also one of the founding members of the Shrill Collective. You know, I probably said half of those things wrong, so why don't you introduce yourself to say who you are, other than,
I think you nailed all of those things.
oh,
Thank you for the
good.
intro. Um, yeah, I'm Linda. Hello. And I live in New York City. I've been here for it'll be 9 years in August, which is crazy. Yeah. Um, and yeah, I'm on my new website. I just have an artist lady who wears many hats, and that's kind of like my new little title I'm doing because I'm a singer, I'm an actress, songwriter, theater producer, and director, and also a teaching artist when I'm to pay the bills when I'm not performing. So I
Yes.
do all of those little things, but all art based and creative. Oh, my phone just buzzed. I'm gonna turn it on silent.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Ding ding. Yes. So all those things.
Um, well, good, very good. So, kind of a bio of kind of background, because I know that we've covered the Shrill Collective on the magazine when you guys first got started back a few
Yes.
years
Yeah,
ago.
that was March. Yeah, I think you did that in like March or April, and we were officially founded in March of 2017.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm always down to support new exciting collections of people. Um,
we so
yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really taken off from there. So I was going to tell our listeners that the whole reason why we even know each other is that we went to this crazy art school in high school.
Yes, Las Vegas Academy. Such an amazing place. And I just went back there because I was visiting my parents and my sisters in February, and I did a master class there in the choir department. I went back. Yeah, it was great. It was so fun. Like, I mean, a lot has changed about the school, but also in the way it's like still the essence of it is the same, which
But
I was very relieved and happy to see. Like the kids, I think like was a very quirky, eclectic bunch, I would say, at LVA, and I loved that passion, like tenacity, was still present. It like made me very happy. So
oh,
yeah,
good.
but that's where we went.
Yes, it's an amazing school. If you live in Las Vegas, you should totally apply if you like the arts. It's free. I don't know. I feel like we lived in a really blessed city in the time of where we lived, because that was not like a thing across the US, that
Yeah,
like
yeah,
magnet
and well,
school.
I have found now, because obviously like I work in the industry, and like
Yeah.
and in being in New York, you're kind of like around people. We all made it to the same place, and but
Yeah.
like, so you're like, oh yeah, I went to an art school too, or I did this, or like some schools weren't an art school, but they had like a special program within it or
Mhm.
something like that. So there's lots of different. I have found that it exists around the country, but I think we really, LVA at that time was like kind of like a heavy hitter of art schools, and we were
Mhm.
there at a really good time where like like funding was good, and we had won like Grammys while we were there, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it was just like a really cool magical time, and we had a lot of opportunities that, I mean, some people don't even have when they're like having their professional career. So just like down to like in the productions, like the sets were like national tour sets, like
Yeah, no, it was insane. I mean, when we had like
stupid.
I mean, I still remember the day that the national tour girl who did Belle came to like talk to
Yes,
us. So, didn't you play Belle? No, you didn't. Were you in it? I
I
don't.
did not.
Oh, okay.
I did Miss Saigon, and I did Cats.
That's what it was.
That's
I knew
those
it
were
was
my
in.
two productions.
Yes,
My
I.
Grisabella.
That was an amazing
Classic.
performance. So, I mean,
I
definitely.
mean, I've done nothing to compare to it since. I peaked at 18. I mean, there it was.
I mean, things that happen in high school. I mean, there are things that you're like, how did I get, like, I won like playwriting internships, and I basically created like my one act in the art gallery, and no one supported me except Mr. Madsen. And like,
Oh,
I, I'm writing, like I'm a writer because basically I,
yeah.
because of that time too. But like you and I both had like a really formative, like it was really a formative time for us to.
Right. And where else would you have had, a teacher, well, maybe teachers, but like the space be like, I wrote this thing and I can put it up in like a legit way. And like, yeah, like people don't get to do that all the time. And so to get a taste of that at such a young age, I think it gives people, if you continue into this world, you're like I have the tools to do that. And like, I did it in this way, and I was capable then, so I'm capable now. Like, I think it's just like, it sets you up for a success,
Right.
whatever that looks like in the future. But
No,
yeah.
exactly. Like it's so crazy that it's crazy to think back, like when you were that age, and how all the things that you've done over the last decade really in
Mm.
art really started there, and then grew in college, and then spiraled into this craziness where now you're in New York, and I've literally lived all over the country chasing
Yeah.
art and my job, and now I teach. But like I'm almost done with a few, like a book, like a novel. I'm finally doing the thing that I always wanted to do, and
I
I have
love
the
that.
space to do it. And it's just crazy that like where our lives lead. Like one day when we come back to our like alumni gathering one day.
Yes, I missed the 10-year anniversary. It was this past spring.
So when you were first starting out, like you're about to be done with school, because you went to, oh god, Boston? No,
I went to Berkeley in Boston,
Berkeley. Oh, so
Berkeley
you
College
did.
of Music.
That's an amazing school. Oh my gosh.
it it is.
I I always
Yeah.
would walk by and like watch these like cello students, and I don't know, I just would
Yeah.
just be down in where all the Berkeley students are, and just I don't know, reminisce about being a college student, but being like, oh God, Berkeley, like Boston is such a hard city to live in. So the fact that you did it for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, well, yes, I love Boston. I think that it has like city vibes. Obviously, it is a city, but it still feels like small enough that like you don't feel like you're getting like swallowed up by it,
Yeah.
And it's very charming, like New England, and there's lots of rich history. And yeah, but like now that I'm in New York for like almost 10 years, almost 9, but we'll round up. I'm so glad I had that experience of like, it was kind of like my starter city, like it gave me like the legs to like feel confident to like go out and, be in this atmosphere. But I actually only went to school for 3. I graduated Berkeley a year early
Oh, look at you.
because going back to LVA, I did like all the AP classes. I did like
Oh.
AP Comp Lit and
And you
like,
passed the test.
well, the thing was that I did technically, but I didn't get like at most other schools, my score, I got like 3s on them, which is like passing. But most other schools you need to get like a 4 for it to count as a credit. A lot of other universities, but here they were like, oh yeah, because it's a music conservatory. So like I didn't have to take like barely any like social studies, and like I never took English in college. Like I never had to take any of that. I did some. I did like I took history classes because like I had some credits I had to take, and when I had an open elective, so like I opted to. I took some like I took art history and world history, and I took some like gender and individual arts classes because I was like, that sounds like something I'd love to learn about. But I literally didn't have to. And I had enough credits between that and like testing out of some music things that I went to my guidance counselor, and she was like, basically like if you switch your major to the make your own major, Berkeley has professional music, which is like you kind of it's a build your own major. And she's like, you could graduate a year early. And I was like, count me in. I just saved 50 grand.
I can't believe they
So
like actually helped you with that. Like, I'm pretty sure I definitely could have graduated scat early, but I decided to do a minor, which ultimately led for my benefit. But
yeah.
that's
Yeah. And there's
crazy.
like, I think like the 4 years of college, like I definitely have had moments, not a lot, but where I've thought like, oh, like what would that year have been, you know? Like maybe there have been more networking or just to be in that atmosphere. But ultimately I'm glad that I took the opportunity to leave early and like just kind of got going with this real life. I don't know. But
Well, so what was that
yeah.
like for you to go from Boston to New York? Like, did you have prospects or like, because, I mean, arts, just jumping into the arts world of theater in New York, I don't know. I feel like it's slightly intimidating.
It is, yes, it is. I had a job out of college. I auditioned like a month before graduation, or a month or two before graduation for Holland America to be like a lead singer of the cover bands.
Okay.
And I found out the day before we graduated that I booked it. And so I was going to hang around Boston that summer and like just kind of work and save money to then move. But I found out I got it. And so 2 weeks later, I was on a cruise ship for like 3.5 months. And so I very luckily got one like this work experience between college and moving to New York. Kind of like it was a confidence booster. I learned I got to work with working musicians and be on that level, and I learned a lot of repertoire because this band you played for hours, and they hand you these stacks of charts and songs, and they're like, what do you know? And when I started, I think I knew like 100, and by the end I knew like 300 songs, because you have to sing so I learned a lot of repertoire. A lot of friends who I met on that ship I'm still friends with today, like who were a little older than me, so it was nice because I could ask them questions about like, what do I do in my first year in New York? Like, what did you do? What worked for you? Like, so I'm really glad I had that. And so, I came to New York with a little bit of money, not a lot, but enough to like get my apartment and do that, which is a big deal because it's so expensive here. And yeah, and I mean, I kind of just dived in. I had so many different jobs my first year or two in New York. I was like a nanny and a singing server, and I handed out newspapers, and I did cater waitering, and I did all the things. And then I got into like teaching like baby music classes, like 9 a.m. with like a full rock band. And that became like a really great way to like make money. It was creative, and I like met a lot of people through it. And through that, I remembered like how much I loved teaching. I'd always been like I took a lot of like pedagogy and like music ed classes at Berkeley. And so that's how it got me into my teaching artist work, which is like my main bread and butter when I'm like, if it's not like my performing job. It's because now I work in public schools and teach songwriting and teach chorus and direct and all of that. So it's really great. What was the question? Moving to New York. Yeah, it's hard. And there's no one way, but I would just say like what I did was I just kind of like hit the ground running. Like I got on all the backstage and actors access and just started submitting and going to auditions, open calls, 5 a.m. waiting to sing your 16 bars. Yeah, 5 a.m. very early. Yeah, because if you're non-union, there's no like pre-sign up, so it's like first come, first serve. And yeah, so it's a crazy life, but yeah,
Are
things
you
get going.
are you union now?
I am not currently I'm still non-union. I think the Kinky Boots tour I did was a non-union. It was union, and then I went non-union 2 years before I joined. So yeah, but it's a I mean, I don't even know if everything's so uncertain right now, so I mean, it doesn't matter. But a big topic in the last couple of years was just like, because a lot of tours are going non-union, basically, like, so people can like save, like producers save money because you're paying people for a fraction of like the normal salary and all of that. There's been a lot of like talk centered around that, of like, and also then you're getting younger actors, not always, because I mean, I'm not 22. I'm just happen to still be non-union because I've worked non-union. But yeah, so I mean, I would like to join the union. That's a goal, and to like, and to have that protection. But it's just worked out so far that like, even like some of these off-Broadway contracts I've done and tours, it's been great jobs and working with the same awesome teams, but just non-union. So it's not a quality thing. It's just a contract thing.
It's not a quality thing. It's a contract thing. I like that.
Contract thing.
It's a good one. No, that's like
Made that
really, it's a good one. You should coin it. Lynda DeFuria.
It's not a quality thing. It's a contract thing.
Hey, you should add that to your website.
There it is.
One of the like contact me for business inquiries, and it's like, it's not a quality thing. It's
I'm a slogan maker. That's what that is.
Hey, you're a man of all hats.
Amazing.
A woman of all hats. I mean,
yes, a wordsmith, if you will. So dumb.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, good. So you made it to New York. And so I have a question for you, because when I was living in Los Angeles, I was bound and determined to stay, because I also had I didn't really have a safety net at all, but I knew that I had family I could go drive to and stuff. Did you, when you first started, did you have family in the area, or you just literally?
Yeah. I was born in New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, we moved to Vegas when I was 3. So both sides of my family, well, now my mom's side lives in Florida, but all of my dad's relatives live in New Jersey, 25 minutes. Some of them live right across. And then my grandma lives central Jersey. So even when I was in Boston in college, I used to go to Thanksgiving in New Jersey. I would take the bus and then take the NJ Transit. So I have family nearby. And then also a lot of friends of mine moved to New York from school. So we had that, they were kind of split, half went to LA, half went to, and then the other people that went to Nashville. But yeah, so I had people that I knew, and also my roommate, we've lived together for almost 9 years. He's my friend from Berkeley. So yeah, I had that sort of, that safety net and community, a built-in community. And so that was nice. Yeah.
One of the perks of going to art school or music school is, kind of going to a school where you get really close-knit people. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that I literally I could reach out to anybody at any time and be like, hey, I wanted to come visit you or whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, I really love it. Even if there's 3 people in our network, honestly, this is the first time I've moved to a city where there's the state, there's nobody here, which is sad, because you would think there would be, but I mean, there's an amazing arts governor school. It's called Governor School of Arts and the arts and.
Oh, I know of that.
Yeah, Greenville.
My friend.
Yeah,
yes,
the art school.
My friend Corrine has worked there with her husband, Andy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Byrne. Yes, they go there. They teach during the summer, right? Do they have a summer program?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, for middle school and high school students.
Yes, I have heard of this. And yeah, they say they love that gig. It's incredible. It's gorgeous. They get a nice place to stay. And they said that the program is incredible.
It's amazing.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
Where I live.
I'm going to text her and tell her that we talked about that.
And when she comes and visits, let me know.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still doing that. Yeah, I have to ask her about that.
Okay. Well,
so cool.
Yeah.
They both are university professors now. So I think that was more when they were they might still do it, but and they had a little more freelancing, you build your schedule. Now they have a set thing. So
right.
They got a main gig, if you will. Yeah.
Hey, that's my goal, is to get professor life is the best life. So
yeah,
that's kind of why I'm going the writing route, because the more I publish, the more I have that dumb resume that tells you, oh, look, you're so awesome because you've done all of these things.
Yes. Yeah.
At the extent.
It's so fun to teach writing and to get to be part of that journey for young writers. It's really cool.
Yes. No, totally. I'm actually with my middle schoolers. We're hoping to do that next month, is just to do a bunch of creative writing exercises and stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yes, Governor School is an amazing place for 10th and 11th and 12th graders during the school year. And then in the summer they do have middle school and high school, you can audition in spring and fall and like go for a week, and it's kids from all over the South Carolina state. So they'll like stay on campus and they'll go there for a week, and yeah, it's an amazing little thing that they have. But
love that.
Yeah, no, it's so great because there's an arts community in Greenville. Greenville's a lot like Asheville. It's like a smaller Asheville, but it's still not like Atlanta or Chicago or LA. Like it's nothing compared to like a big city, which is fine. And some people can't handle being in that kind of environment. So it kind of works. So along with, so I'm kind of going through like the career of your life of, how things are going. So you made it. So yeah, my next question was, so, cause I know that I experienced this when I was in Los Angeles working, is, I would have friends from college come out, and I tried not to get too attached to them because I knew that within 6 to 12 months they would leave. And I was wondering if that you had experienced that kind of, in like New York, where
like people
would move
shifting
on.
career. Yeah.
Like, so would they, like, maybe they got a I mean, I guess it's a little, it's kind of the same, but they would kind of just give up on their dream in New York and maybe just move somewhere else to pursue it, or literally just shift gears and go to real estate. I don't know. But like, did you find people that like you knew that happened to, like, within 6 to 12 months?
I think the 6 to 12 months, I don't think I had anybody personally, but I think there are sort of like phases, because again, I've been in New York for it'll be 9 years in September, or in August, and I think that I know of a lot of people who've like they still know they want to be in the arts or in the industry, but the way in which they're doing that has changed. They decided that for them, like going to open calls and playing this game of like your agent and getting to finals, getting final 2 for a role and then not getting it, and it's like you have to mourn that loss, and just you just decide what serves you and like what feels worth it to you, and like what you can take, and like there's no shame in like changing gears, like, and I personally haven't done that. I mean, I have shifted gears like in my day-to-day, like that's part of the thing of like why I teach, because it's like something within my control, like like I love it. I think I've gotten better at it as I've gone, and I've like built this community of other teaching artists, and it's like it pays well, so it's like this is the thing that I can control and then still be able to do this, my life, my passion, which is only in my control to a certain point. Right. But yeah, I know a lot of people who've like gone back to school like to get their master's and in like directing or playwriting, or gone back just for another degree in acting, but like more focused to something else. I have friends who have who like are producers now, like are producers or like company managers on Broadway, or like I have a few friends who have dabbled like in company managing, where like you're still someone who like has to like know actors and like know how to manage, and like they're like their emotion ebb and flow and just how to deal with them, but then you also have your logistical like business mind. And so I have a lot of friends who've gone into that, or
That's
moved
awesome.
into more like my friend Tegan Miller. We met doing Fancy Nancy, the tour, and then off Broadway, and she still performs, but like she's opened up her own teaching studio, and like she's a music director. Like she was a music director for The Office parody that was off Broadway. So, and her husband Asaf wrote the music. But yeah, so yeah, people shift. I don't know if a lot for me though happened in the first 6 to 12 months. It was more like 3 to 5 year mark where you go, this isn't really going the way I wanted to. Let's look at it realistically. Like, what are my expectations, and like does that make me, can I accept that? And then if it's no, then maybe people started like looking at other things, and I've gone through that process too. I've just still kept going for the ultimate goal for me is like being a performer. So yeah,
no, that's good.
But yeah,
I know,
but also
like that.
Yeah, but also I don't like not get attached to people for that, because also like you can all keep in touch still. Like I
Well,
have
yes,
friends.
of course, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like for example, she won't mind them talking about her. But my best friend Lauren, like she came to New York to perform, but also like had other interests, and she's moved around a lot. Like she did New York for a year, she did LA for a year, she did Boston for 2 or 3. Then she went back home to Syracuse to get her master's, and now she lives here, but now she's back home because coronavirus. So like, and she's always been something centered in art or like being with people, but it's changed, and now, and literally she went back to school to get a communications a master's, and her job she got is working at Manhattan School of Music. She does PR and market or like media for a music school. So it's like all the worlds coming back together. So yeah, people, that's I think it's like, that's life. You just gotta keep like trying stuff till like the shoe fits.
No, for sure. That's great. No, that's great advice. That's why I wanted to
Yes.
know, because I know that New York and LA are they're very similar. They're vastly different, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
curious kind of like what you had noticed, because like I kind of left LA at the 6 year mark, but only because a job brought me east, and
Yeah.
I honestly I had it was so funny because like when I had gotten that job, I'd finally landed a 9 to 5 at a visual effects house where everyone will not name the name, but it is a big one, where I was
Mm.
the only one in the building that got to go home at 6 p.m. because I wasn't the one working on shots till midnight. So
Yeah.
like and I found that it's funny that some things that you find that you're really good at, you discovered when you were like 16, but you didn't think that that was a job then.
Yes, yes.
Like I was really good at, back to the one act I had directed senior year, I casted all of the up and coming rising like juniors that year. So literally,
Mm.
no, mark my words, like the year after I left and I went to college, all of those people had lead roles in every single one of our plays that next coming year in high school. And
Yeah.
I was like, either they were my friends or they were actually really talented. I don't know which, but I definitely didn't always choose my friend for that
Yeah.
role. And so it's just kind of cool to see how, you have these kind of talents. And now I'm like really good. Like I'm connected with probably too many people on LinkedIn. But I mean, this magazine wouldn't have happened if I didn't know how to find people. Like
Yeah.
this magazine,
Being
like
connector. Mm-hmm.
I reach out to people all over the world for just because I'm interested in hearing their story. And so I have a readership, not that I'm bragging, but I'm like just data wise, like looking at the
Yeah.
data, there's people like literally all over the world that will come and check out this website for whatever reason. Like they're
Yeah.
whatever fan artist of, they love this artist, they love this movie, or they'll find you on the internet, and then my thing will now pop up again because you're once again your name is somewhere in my magazine. So
Yeah.
but speaking of the next thing that I wanted to ask you about, which was Shrill, because how did that, like, I know I probably asked you the origin story of that, but like,
Mm-hmm.
how have you guys started? Because I mean, there are always really good starter ideas, and then these things kind of burn and fizz out. Like, how have you guys
Yeah.
maintained and evolved in this new world of just explosion of like information? And how do you keep it relevant? Like how do you get people to the theater? Like what do you do to like just keep us wanting to care about the Shrill Collective?
It's great question. Yeah, so we've been around now for anybody who doesn't know, the Shrill Collective is
Please, please.
I am one of the co-founders and executive board members of the Shrill Collective, and we've been around for 3+ years. We're a feminist, change-making, theater-making, not-for-profit organization, collective. I just used all the words, but basically we produce new works. We didn't always do new works, but now we do by women and non-binary playwrights, and we focus on the new works and trying to get these stories out there that aren't always told or given the funding, and then proceeds from all of our productions go to a different I cannot think of words, community organization. So this last year we had one organization that we gave all of our money to, which was the Lower East Side Girls Club, which they've like popped up. Literally, they were on like Reese Witherspoon's Netflix show, and I was like, whoa. But we've worked with like other organizations. We've donated to Everytown, to Girls Right Now.
That's
There's a
such a good
shelter
one.
here.
I knew
I
about that one.
know, right? And that was when we did the Fade Courtesans, Afroben. So it kind of was like, it was like old writing, and then we gave to like the writing organization. Yeah. So anyways, that's what we do. But you know, it started out as something like we didn't really know what it was. Like we just wanted to do a production. We did a really thrown together reading of Lysistrata in April or May of 2017, and it was like boozy. Like we were like, here, everybody can have wine, and like but we raised so much money for the Reproductive Health Access Project. We were like astounded at how much money we raised, and all we had to do was like have a few rehearsals and like call it a day. So we were like, we can do this. And then it turned into, you know, a little bit more rehearsal, a little more official casting process. Then we went into full productions, and now we just do new works. And I think what keeps people coming to our shows is that one, they love supporting new works, and they love supporting these playwrights, and also like their friends if they know them. And I think that we've just built like a reputation for having like quality work. I mean, we know how to do stuff on a dime, but it doesn't look like that. And it's like, yeah, I think the quality of our work and the fact that we give to charity, and yeah, I think that's what keeps people coming. And then maybe because we're kind of fun, nice people too. I don't know, but it's I think it's all the factors. And yeah, so we've had a lot of, I run our marketing and our social media. So it's great. We're always getting new people finding us and wanting to be involved. And even if it's not just, you know, acting in our stuff, we have a collective underneath that where we have like monthly meetings with our members. And that's just very much like, sort of like a goal of artists where we can like talk about our new projects, or just have a space to share. And like, I think it's the community that brings people to. So I don't know. That was a really long answer, but
No,
that's what we
awesome.
do. And
Cool.
you know, right now, because we had our 2019 season kind of spilled into 2020. We had a production of Trifles. Do you know the Susan Glaspell one act?
Sorry.
You don't know it. But,
Sorry, I'm too busy teaching 13-year-olds to read, but it's cool. It's cool. It's fine.
It's fine. It's actually, it's a good one act for middle school and up to read. But it was written in 1916, and we did a reading of it like 2 years ago, and we incorporated music into it to kind of like fill out the story. And the main character is only spoken about. But in this adaptation I played this woman. We fleshed her out and like gave her monologues and songs, and we did this really cool production. So it was site specific. We did it in like a church in Brooklyn, and it was very creepy, eerie. So we did that, but we don't have a full recording. We recorded some of the songs, so those are on YouTube. Actually, this week I need to update our website, but that's another to do. So yeah, we have some footage, just kind of capture the production a little bit. But anyway, sorry, I go on so many tangents. The point of that was that we had our 2020 meeting, and our plan, we're incubating and developing a musical right now that our friend, and she's worked with us before, Caitlin McKechnie, has been writing, and it's centered around the women and lovers of Picasso, which is very cool. It's very like Six the musical, but like folky-ish, you know, like a la. So we were working on that. We've been doing like small readings of that. We had a staged reading of it in September. And so our goal was to get some sort of production of that up by the fall, which I don't really know is going to happen at this point, just because so much about this industry is so uncertain right now. And I don't know how quick people are going to be to gather in spaces. I hope soon, but I think we have to be realistic about that. So we've just been, you know, we're still meeting as a collective, and and brainstorming and planning and hoping. And every week we have 2 community meetups online that people can, it's like through a Google Hangout, and just a space, like I said, like people to share and just have community. But yeah, that's us. We're still staying relevant in the quarantine, basically. So yes.
That's so cool. I'm super happy for you. Like that, I'm sure you did not imagine yourself ever probably creating a theater collective.
No, and I think because all of us, there's 6 of us who founded it, and there's now 5 active board members. And we've talked a lot about, like, I think the magic combo here is that we are a collective. Like, we all have projects we do on our own, and that's fine. But you cannot have something of this size and like the impact that you want it to have. You cannot do that alone, and you have to have a team, and we all have different strengths and we know who to tap in for what, and you have to be really honest about that. You have to be like, so you tried this and it didn't go so great, and so that was your trial, and we have these honest conversations about that, because we're trying to keep this like a well-oiled machine. And so but it's that community, and like, tapping in, tapping out. I mean, that's what keeps us running, because even like Chelsea, one of our co-founders, she's had like a small opera company she had for like 2 seasons, and they worked great, but then it just kind of fizzled because people get like into other stuff. So we've really maintained that like this is a priority for all of us too. Like, we've kept it that, even when we've all had other career things going on, we've been like, this is still something very special that we want to keep putting our time and our energy into.
That's really cool, because I know that obviously you travel a lot with the different tours that you'll be on, or the hopeful tour that you're gonna hopefully go to. And no, I'm so impressed by what you're always doing. And on my iPod, your original single "Alive" will randomly start playing.
Oh my god, that EP is now like 10 years old, by the way. That's crazy.
It's like, it's on my iPhone, and whenever I would randomly plug in my phone, it would like, you're like, the iTunes part would come on, and apparently you're on my like actual recorded like iTunes. Yeah. So anyway, I'm always like, oh, Linda's singing today. Like,
oh my gosh. I love that.
I know. I'm such a nerd. I don't know. Or I'm bad at technology, and I like don't know how to.
I think it's up there in the beginning if it's alphabetical by song. So there it is.
Yeah, there you go. It's just, actually, it's good. It's good to have a song that starts with like a number or the letter A. I mean,
that was planned. It was totally planned.
total plan there. Well, I don't think I have any more questions, because you are crazy busy and doing all different kinds of things with being stuck inside. Hashtag stay at home. And
stay at home.
That's why I have the ability to actually I usually, because most people have read this magazine, I do email interviews, because I'm so busy doing a million things that I don't have time just to sit and chat with people. So
it's nice to do this. It's nice to connect. And
connection more than ever. I think people realize that it's actually important to do connection things.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And I think that's why, like, we kind of like talked about this a little bit before we were officially recording, but like, that a lot of people have been kind of turning to artists at this time of like, because we already live, we chose it, but there's this unpredictability about our careers, and you're always kind of functioning with like, anything could be pulled out from under you at any time. And that's just how it goes. You have to be flexible. Mm-hmm. It's not always easy, but that's kind of the thing. And, we're in this time where like everyone's in this similar boat at the same time. Like, you're never all there at once, And so a lot of people who aren't artists are like, how do you, it's kind of like a look into our world a little bit.
Really? That's interesting. I never thought about it like that because there's no
Yeah, well,
artist
just
people in my life around here because everyone just thinks, oh, you're fine. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm perfectly adjusted, but then no one asks me why I'm perfectly adjusted until you bring that up. That you bring up a very good point.
yeah. And so I think, yeah, it's, and like, of course, like people are turning to art at this time, like shows and movies and music, and a lot of conversations I've had within my shrill community and just friends who are also, professional artists, like, there's like this pressure of like, because you have the free time, like you should be using it and like you should be like creating, and it's just like such BS, because it's like, this is such a crazy time. I mean, I'm on day 35 of quarantine, 34, whatever I said, and um some days you wake up and like the only thing you can do is like get your 20-minute workout and then just be. I mean, because everything has been like stripped away, and it's not, you're not obligated to pump out productivity and like art and results, and so it's something, I say this because it's something that's been on a lot of our minds, of like, feeling like you have to utilize this time or come out with a new skill or come out with a product, and it's just like so not the case. But if you do, that's awesome, and yeah.
I mean, I'm
So
definitely working on projects, but I have to remind
right.
myself that it's okay to not finish them like
Yes.
immediately. Like I have something that's definitely going to benefit me in the future. Like it's really going to be a
Yeah.
productive, like incredible resource for teachers. But like there's this part of me that's like, oh, I got to get it done by like April, or I got to get it done by May. And it's like, actually in 6 months, these people are going to forget everything they've probably learned now. And they're going to go back to that resource that they wanted to block out when they like,
Mm,
people are always
yeah.
going to need help. And so it's like, if you work from the mindset that it's not like people are going to run out of things to need. and
You're right. Yeah.
and also though, that you and I, like, we totally, as much as I hate to admit it, like I'm perfectly content with just like, it's funny, my boyfriend said this the other day. He's like, when we go back to like not having quarantine, it's not like we go to concerts and movies and we gallivant around the country, or we go on mountain adventures or whatever. Like everything stays the same for the most part for us. And I was like, he's like, that's why it hasn't really been that like drastic or different in your life. And I'm like, well, you do have a point. Like
Yeah.
that's really interesting. I mean, also though, that you and I are in this unique position that we are creators, not consumers.
Mm,
And it's like people expect people who are creators to constantly be creating, and it's like, if we're
right.
not, like you have this, like, you get this guilt trip on you, like, oh, I
Right.
should be like, I have to, because it's, and
Right.
which is, it goes back to Glenn Edwards. I don't know if Glenn Edwards ever told you this in high school, but rest in peace. But
No.
he always said, if acting isn't for you, get out. Like if that's not the thing, at the end of the day, if you don't wake up and be like, I can't wait to do this or wait to do X, get out. And
Mm-hmm.
he, like, honestly was serious. Like he's telling a 14-year-old to like literally go walk down a Las Vegas Boulevard by yourself, like get out. But like that's kind of what he was saying. Like,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, I get up every morning being like, I need to write more pages, or oh, I need to do
Yeah.
this. But
Yeah.
being okay,
Mm-hmm. You go ahead.
oh yeah, and say, with like being okay with just like, like all this week, like school's been like on spring break, and I've planted flowers. I've like,
Oh yeah.
I'm starting to finally pick up a sewing project that I've had fabric for 2 years.
Love that. I mean, I truly, through this, I have rekindled my love for cooking and baking. I have been outdoing myself. And I've always known that I love these things, but I like, I'm like hustling, bustling and whatever. And I cook on a regular basis, but I make things to go. Like I put everything in a Tupperware because I'm like I'm teaching or I'm at rehearsal or whatever. So it's been really nice to like cook my meals and like enjoy them. And
Drink your
yeah,
coffee mugs, like use your coffee mugs you have found.
yes, my tea. Yeah. So yeah, there's been some new rekindled joys through this, even though it's a terrible thing that's happening, but that aren't around what I do, which is really nice. So
I I upped my candy game.
Mm.
So I make chocolate candy, just, melt chocolate together and fuse different things together, right? Well, I
Oh,
find,
wow.
oh, I think I need to send you some. Okay, well, that's noted. We'll send it to you in the old mailbox there, before it gets 100 degrees outside. But I got candy molds that have cactuses on them because that's how much I miss the desert. That I'm also writing a book about the desert, but then I went so far
Oh.
as to I splurged at $10 and got like 8 little candy molds and like a little thing to put chocolate in, and
Oh, that is adorable. I love that.
it might be on my Instagram. I don't know, but
I will be checking that out. Please let us know. I love that. I actually think I'm going to bake something, not today, probably tomorrow. I'm going to bake something new tomorrow. I have a few recipes saved, so we'll see what I come up with.
oh, that's so exciting.
Inspired.
All right, Lynda. Well, it's been wonderful chatting with you in the Articles
Yes.
of Antiquity. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Jen. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you so much for having this wonderful life of advice of living in not LA, but theater in New York and life of an
Listen,
actor,
I just share what I know. You can take it or leave it.
Hey, someone out there is gonna be inspired after this, I hope so.
I hope so.